Yeah, we're getting the street tore up. We're going to have a new pavement. It's going to be just grand. Well, good afternoon. This is Hound Dog Steve here on Thursday afternoon, May the 3rd, and welcome to my spring garden. So here we go. This is what my garden looks like in the springtime. Well, it sure makes a lot of mess with that wood. It's amazing how much bark actually comes off the wood. Anyway, these punky old logs are going to go into my new raised beds. And as you can see, I have some hay here already. Used up all my wood, nicely cleaned out. And what I do with the hay is, actually I've got a lot of work to do here this year. But what I'm going to do is pull back all of this topsoil here. Then you break up the hay into flakes, and then I just lay them down and I put the topsoil back on top of the hay, and you can that will just turn into soil and humus. It is amazing stuff. It's all does it by itself, all in nature. And there you go, that's how you get free topsoil. Now the greenery on top of my garden here, you'll see it's happening in every bed. I had to replant the mustard. This is Kodiak mustard. It's a hot mustard, and this is to get rid of the fungus fusarium. Now these two beds here, I've noticed, and I'll show you at another bed what's happened, but this wood is not standing up very well, and I want to turn these two raised beds into a hoop greenhouse. So I'm going to completely rebuild these raised beds, and as I say, you'll see why in a minute. It doesn't look too bad from the outside, but I certainly don't want to build anything that needs a little bit of strength and then all of a sudden find, you know, in about a year's time I've got to take the whole stupid thing apart and go from scratch. So as you can see, I've cleaned up all my beds. The mustard is planted, so it's going to be a late planting spring for me. That's my manure pile. There is some extra topsoil. Yes, daylilies coming up. These are my grapevines. They're settling in quite nicely. And my big water jug is already filled. And so, as you're probably noticing with the coming weather patterns, you need to be prepared to go either way. You need to rig up some kind of watering system from your roof. This is free water, my friend, and if we happen to have a dry year, you want to have plenty of water. I've got about 1,000 gallons. There's, as you can see up the house there is 4 water barrels there. I got 2 more here, and of course this one is a 250, about a 300 gallon tank. So and I got 3 more around the back. So I've been cleaning up some beds here, getting ready to go. I should be getting some asparagus coming up soon. It's been a very late spring. We are on to the 3rd of May, and it is still darn chilly. They're calling for snow on the weekend. And but here, look what's happened. Look how much this has rotted down beneath the soil line. So this happened far more quickly than I anticipated. So I'm going to patch this one up this year, just to get me through, and then slowly but surely I'm going to replace all of these raised beds, and I'm going to use hemlock. Okay, and hemlock is an incredibly tough wood, and we just happen to have, luckily, a sawmill down Lindsay Way, not too far from here, and all they do is cut hemlock. So yeah, I've been cleaning out the strawberries. They're coming along nicely. See, I have some stray garlic all over the place. There's a whole bunch over there. There's probably about 20 bulbs that have come up all over the place. So it's funny how you always end up with a little bit of garlic no matter what happens. But yeah, the oregano is coming up. The sage. This sage is unbelievable. This is like the 4th year it's survived the winter. There's been a little bit of die-off, but by and large it's actually pretty good. Of course, the mint. This is chocolate mint. That over there is spearmint. And coming up over there on the far side, I don't know if you can see. Let's see if we can pan in a little closer. That is pineapple mint. This here is lemon balm. And I don't know if you can see these little hairs coming out of the soil, but those are dillweed coming up. That's not a dillweed, that's just a weed. And so my end bed here, this is going to be cilantro, because I love cilantro. Wow, it's probably my favorite herb. But yeah, all of these beds are having a few difficulties. I had to do a fix up on the corner of this one because it had come apart. One of the things that I found, I used deck screws to put this together, and so what's happened with the deck screws is, as the wood has expanded with the moisture, it's broken the heads off and sheared the screws off. So again, you see I've got a bit of an issue going on down here. So I will, what I will be doing is redoing the worst of the beds. Like I say, the one up on the far end where the greenhouse is going to be, I'm going to do that first, because I got a funny feeling that we are going to need some extra time at the beginning of the year, beginning of the season, and at the end of the season. Now, my raspberries and blackberries, actually, no, there's no blackberries in here. There's a raspberry and a raspberry blackberry cross. Anyway, they have settled in wonderfully, and as you can see, they are leafing out. I expect to get an excellent crop, and of course, like all raspberries, you know, if you need to fill in a patch where you can kind of keep it down by mowing, or have it in a box like this where it's contained, these things, look how they've all come up. Look at them all in the middle there. These are all sending out runners, and up they come. Another little patch of topsoil there. I'll be using that up this year, no doubt. And here's my compost. I get a lot of soil out of that. Now, I don't know if you can see what I've done, but I set that on a skid, and then I put chicken wire over it, and what that allows is for any moisture, too much moisture, to drain out. And I always have worms in there, because pretty soon I'll be getting ready to dump out my compost, my vermiculture composter in the house, and it is just full of worms, and they will go in there and they will continue to chow down on all of that stuff. So here we are. Oh, and there, look, there's 2 little dandelions, and you know, I would urge you not to pull the dandelions until the flowers are gone. This is one of the earliest food sources for our bees, and I think I've mentioned before, but we are having all kinds of problems with our pollinators, and so any little bit helps. There we go. Look, I popped those over there for safekeeping, so I can plant them later. But there's some garlic, and look at all the little pieces of garlic coming up. And I thought I'd clean these beds out last year, but obviously not. Anyway, we are expecting one heck of a lot of rain. I may go and do a video down by the water there, by the dam, and by the locks, because the water is already high and we are expecting about 75 millimeters or 3 inches of rain over the next 3 days, and could be heavy at times. And so I am anticipating that we could see a little bit of flooding, and I'd like to catch the before and after on film. Okay, so here is my mustard seed. If you can see that there, they're very, very tiny, and they are going to be going into this bed here. Now I don't think the mustard will do any damage. Oh, look at the blackbird, the robins. You know, I love it when the birds trust you enough to come into your garden. They've probably got a little nest somewhere around here. There's 4 of them up in a tree. But I do everything I can to encourage all kinds of wildlife. I know there's a couple of garter snakes in here. Do they get onto these nooks and crannies, and man, do they ever keep the slugs down. Nature is the most incredible helping hand that you will ever have, and so we need to encourage everything we can for nature to thrive. So I want to make my backyard into like a little wilderness. So I leave it kind of unkempt, you know, and you can see there the grass is getting kind of long, but you know, I want to be able to come back here and relax and feel cozy. Is that the word I'd use? Yeah, cozy. And here, look, this is completely taken off. This is stinging nettle. This weed or herb abounds in England. Stinging nettle makes the most incredible tea. It is supposed to be good for arthritis. I don't know where it came from. I'm assuming that the birds brought some seeds in, because it just appeared here one year, and now of course it's spreading like crazy, and it's looking really healthy. But I'll tell you, if you brush that against your skin, you're going to itch like crazy, and there'll be little white bumps will come up. Now don't panic, the itch is very intense, but it's not like poison ivy. It does not continue on for 7 years or blister up past that. Later on in the season, again, I will show you. I have lots of them around here, dock plants, and a dock leaf will take the itch right out of a nettle sting. But yeah, you can pick those leaves, dry them, make a tea. They are incredibly healing. They're an antioxidant. So this is Hound Dog Steve signing off, waiting for the rain on May the 3rd. Please, if you've enjoyed this video and want to see more, like, subscribe, share with your friends, and I will give you all the gardening tips that I can find to help you have a healthy, robust, edible landscape in your backyard. You take care now. Have a great day. Bye-bye.